Hello everyone, welcome back to the Big Bad Bench. My name is John, aka Big Bad Biologist, and we do a lot of fixing stuff on this channel. Today we're going to do a little experiment. So here's the top chassis of a Macintosh LC and LC II. They kind of look the same. Oh yeah, I'm good at putting things in camera view. The insides are very similar, and there's a chance that we're going to be able to use some of the insides across two different things. Behind me, the Macintosh LC is booted up. You can see we have a 68020 processor. When we boot up the LC2 and physically look at the LC2, you'll see that that has a 68030 processor. And so that's the key difference. They're very similar computers overall. Like if you're looking at these two things, let's zoom in on just a skosh. Maybe you can see, oh, all right, I gotta move some stuff. This is awesome. So I've been playing with my Sega Game Gear, and I really wanted batteries. And so I bought the upgrade kit that had batteries and lets you charge it with a USB-C, so you don't have to use the regular janky, weird adapter with that. This is freaking awesome. I'm loving this thing. Anyway, sorry, back on topic. Let's look at these two boards in a little bit more detail here. Oh man, I wish I was ready. Why am I not ready to stream here? Why is this so difficult? There we go. We can kind of see everything here. Let's set some stuff aside. I always like having a blue SCSI out just on the Big Bad Bench because they're awesome. And I use them excessively. There we go. Now you can see both of these. All right, so you can see both boards. Who can point out the differences between these two? As I say hi to folks in the chat, I have not said hi to folks in the chat. Hello, folks in the chat. We got Dave's Vintage Apple Tech, Trina's Technobabble, Mac 84, Jack 68K, All Things DG, Garth Bagel, Mac 84 again. Hello. I803866SX is here. Who else am I missing? Tech Ambrosia's here. Yay. JVHS is here. Hello. Roger Salter. Hello. All Things DG says missing math coprocessor. Yeah, so here's the Macintosh LC II. You can see that they have a spot for a math coprocessor. And if you're into soldering, like I am, you can actually just, so here's my nice LC2 board. You can actually just solder a socket on there and put the math coprocessor in. And so that's a nice little mod if you have an LC2 that you want to play with. And the processor, yeah, that's the other big difference, right? This processor, probably from where you're looking at, you can't tell the difference. But from where I am, I can see a 3 here and a 2 here. So this is 68030, this is 68020. If we look at these two chips right here, they're basically in the same spot. We have both the VRAM SIM, or the 30-pin SIMs for memory. We have VRAM SIM. We have built-in RAM. This one has 2 megs, this one has 4 megs. We have our ROMs lined up the same. We got our processor direct slots the same. Got our same SCSI / serial controller chip here. We got our egret chips here. These two chips, if you can see clearly, the model number here is 343S0121-A. This one is 343-0155-A. And you know, the model numbers are different. And so ultimately, what I care about, I don't know if I have it here. Oh, here it is. Oh, I'm dropping boards. Oh. So this is a board from a Classic II. And you can see that chip is missing. I don't know where it went. It was around here somewhere. Maybe we'll find it later in the day. But this chip was bad on this board. This board went through some issues. And so ultimately I swapped this chip between another Classic II. I swapped that chip onto here. The chip from the other Classic II worked fine. When I took that chip and put it on the other Classic II, that Classic II had weird issues. And so ultimately what I want to do is fix this Classic II. The LC and the LC2 are, I don't know, less important computers to me. So this LC2 board I just got on eBay for $8. I think actually it was like $6.58 or something like that. So you can find these LC2 boards very cheap. And so ultimately what I'd like to do is try to use these chips on the Classic II, one of these two chips. But it looks like there's some differences between the Classic II and these. These two look pretty much identical. And so if we go to, let's see, this? Yeah. So there's a link in the chat to this spreadsheet, or not in the chat, in the video description to this spreadsheet. And what I did was I went over the Beaumark and Max 1 ZZZ on the Tinker Different forum, did pinouts. They made a full schematic for the LC. I looked at the LC2 schematic, I looked at the Classic II schematic, and I figured out what all the pins do for those chips. So these are the chips I just mentioned. It's called Eagle on the Classic II, it's called the glue on there, it's called the ASIC there. And so I did all the pinouts, and basically they're the same, except for here. So pin 38 is supposedly the 25.175 megahertz clock in to the chip, and on the LC it's supposedly the 31.33, and they're switched for pin 42, and yeah, the same clocks are inverted. This pin 23 to that is supposed to go to the this is the egret chip, whereas on the LC it goes to a test point. And those are basically, you can go through this yourself and look at all the pins. Those are all the differences that I can compare. So yeah, the Classic II is going to be a bigger departure. The big difference is that the LC and LC2 have the VRAM that helps with color video, and so that's going to be kind of a problem. And so, but anyway, it looks like these are the same except for these clocks, and I think somebody might be wrong. So let's look at those clocks ourselves. Let's go back. Everyone likes looking at spreadsheets, right? That's what Saturdays are for, looking at spreadsheets. Let's set this aside. You don't want to pour over all those pins, Steve? Come on, man. I spent so much time doing all that. Okay. Jack 68K says pivot tables. Saturdays are for pivot tables. All right, let's go to those pins. Okay, here we go. So I've marked it here. So according to my spreadsheet, we are currently looking at the LC. So this should be the 31 megahertz clock. Here, this should be 25. Let's use the oscilloscope and see if this works. See if I short anything out. I always seem to short stuff out when I'm using my oscilloscope. Go here. And what do we see? 31.3 megahertz. So Max 1 ZZ's thing is correct. We'll go to this one. There we go. 25.1. And again, for the LC, that is correct. For Max 1 ZZ. So I think, oh, and this is the LC. So that's what it's supposed to be. This one is the one that's also potentially different that's supposed to go to the egret chip, and basically we're just seeing kind of a high signal on that. And if we go over to the egret chip for that pin, that's this pin, that's also a high signal. So yeah, let's go and switch this now to the LC2 and check those. Quit. Switch off. So yeah, please debate in the chat your favorite LC model. I'm sure everyone loves the LCs. So in reality, I love the Macintosh LC, the regular LC, because it boots a lot of different operating systems. And if you have a blue SCSI that has a bunch and you set it to the wrong operating system and you can't boot whatever system you're trying to boot, you can probably plug it into here, boot it, and then set it to the proper operating system. So the LC is a very handy machine to have around, and I think actually the LC2 might be similar in that regard. Okay. I do like the LC3, and obviously I have a soft spot in my heart for the LC3 because that was basically the first computer I worked on the channel. So there'll always be a special place for the LC3. But the LC475 is a powerhouse in a tiny little package. So yeah, that's a good machine too. Ooh, nice bong. This was the machine we looked at yesterday. I figured out the sound didn't work because I had a capacitor put backwards, which, you know, that's a thing that happens a lot. Okay, so you can see this one behind me. We got our gray screen. I have the SCSI cable unplugged because I really don't want to boot right now. So there's pin. Let's go to this. So according to the Beaumark, this pin is supposed to be 25 megahertz, but we're seeing 31. So the Beaumark is wrong. And so if we go here, the Beaumark says that should be 31, and in reality it's 25. So Beaumark's right, Max1ZZ is right, and if we go to this other pin that's supposed to go over here, that also just looks like a high signal. And if we go to, ooh. See, I didn't short something out, but I put my wire in the fan. That pin there is also a high signal. So I think we're okay. I think functionally these things are identical. So that means it's time to start some soldering. It always freaks me out to solder 128 pins, but you're all here to support me, right? I guess I should probably pull this out of the chassis to take this chip off. So first off, we will go with the LC2. So I wasn't willing to do this experiment a while ago because I only had one LC2, but now that I have this LC2, we're gonna be okay. If I break this $8 board, I'm not gonna feel too awful. I'll feel bad because I don't want to destroy anything. Hey, Mr. Tac Gadget, thank you so much. All right, let's go back into the All Things DG says, divide the number of you, and that's how many pins each of you will watch over. So there's our chip. Hey, Ian Scott. Hello. All right, here we go. I think what I'm gonna do is actually take the nozzle off of this thing and just dump a buttload of heat on the board. So for those of you that have your own hot air stations, we're gonna set this to butt load. I think we all have settings like that. Steve can only be trusted with half a pin. Let's add a little bit. Are we in focus here? That's a little bit more in focus. Wow. That's as zoomed out as I can get. Okay, there we go. I need some tweezers. I'm also kind of interested to see if the... oh, did I forget to put a half lens on there? I might have forgot to put a half lens, or half mag lens on there. Anyway, it'll be okay. No, so in reality we're at 350 degrees on mine. I think the airspeed is in like liters per hour, so it's saying 110. Gut Bomb, once we get started, will be yelling at me incessantly to clean my tip. First off, we're just going to desolder both chips. Just be patient. It's very easy to rip off pads in these situations. Just let the hot air work. Oh, can you see me? Oh man, so thank you all for hanging out. There we go. YouTube can see me now. Let's get back to it. Yes, I forgot to unplug my space heater that I use back here. And yeah, sorry folks, sorry. Thank you for hanging with me. Let's get back to this. Yeah, I always forget that my space heater and hot air station cannot be used at the same time. Sorry about that. Yeah, you can't set your space heater and your hot air station to butt load. Geez. Jack68K says, I expect this stream to be extended by an extra 7 minutes to account for this. Sorry, folks. Oh, I feel awful. All right. Yes, John says 0.5 butt loads, perhaps. 80386SX says the power outage extended into 2 counties. Yeah, given our power around here, I wouldn't doubt it. I think the G5s may actually draw more power than my space heater does. Alright, what else did I miss? Garth says that, okay, that's one of the things you might hear is a little popping. As certain pins release. Epitronic says I'm late. What did I miss? So I did all the backlog for what I was talking about, and then I blew my breaker again. So we had a blown breaker on the stream. That's always fun. But I described everything that was going on. You could have taken that time where we lost the stream to go and check out my stream from yesterday, where we fixed a little audio amplifier dealie. That only took about 7 minutes to fix, which was kind of a surprise. So what's going to happen here is eventually all these pins are going to release, and then I'm going to pick this chip up and drop it, and I'm going to bend all of the pins on this chip. That's just how these things go. But yeah, people said they're here for the jank. It doesn't get much jankier than losing your shop power. Hopefully YouTube decided to just give all the ads during that time. I need to get one of those board heaters like Electronics has. You can see that the pins are starting to move. Just gonna keep going like this, keep rotating around. Don't want to force anything. Let's go clockwise for a while. We've been going counterclockwise. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, see, and I dropped it. There we go. Okay, that one's done. Ooh, Gutbaum found the bad chip on Frank's SE30. Awesome. What is it? Okay, so that one's gone. Let's go and grab... let's go back to here. Yes, this task does take a lot of patience. Where did I put the other computer? Oh, there it is. Okay, let's pop this board out. Set you aside for a moment. See, the LC tends to have this giant thing in here for the speaker and fan, which is kind of cool. It's a little excessive. There we go. Epictronics says you don't have enough power in your shop for a preheater. That is true, Epictronics. Oh, that is very true. And I just... man, had the CMOS battery taped to this ROM chip. And when I pulled that off, pulled the whole ROM chip out. Okay. Chip number 2. Here we go. One of the things I thought about doing is downgrading the RAM on the LC II, because basically you kind of waste 2 megs if you use 4 meg sims, because it can only address 10 megs. Take those extra chips off and use them for something else. As Jack68K says, yes, the 10 megabyte limit is infuriating. So basically on the LC2, if you put two 4 meg sticks in, that puts 12 megs on, and then there's 2 megs that kind of get lost. You can't touch them. Nope. Everyone will remember which order or which orientation these chips go. Don't want to put these chips on the wrong way. I mean, it's all 5-volt signaling, so it's unlikely that you're going to fry anything. But it's better if you don't put them on the wrong way. See, our pins have moved. Still got some down here. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was not the way to grab that. Don't grab it by an individual pin. That is wrong. Okay. All right, so here's our LC board. So let's start by cleaning this up. Turn on big iron. Gonna flux up this, get rid of all this old solder. Yeah, if you're a pro, you could use the hot air station to solder that on. I'm not that good. I like to do this manually. A pro is like you, Steve. Come on. Clean that all up. Man, why is... It's like my microscope is crooked. I can't get everything in focus. Sorry. Okay. Rid of some of this solder braid that's soaked with solder. Clean that up. Okay. Let's put some more flux on. Okay, so now I'm going to grab that chip from the LC2. I can tell which way it should go because I remember that these pins, these all faced over towards the the crystal oscillators. And I generally there we go. I like to get it lined up and then come in. Oh, come on, you jerk. Come on, you jerk. We can always slightly readjust later. Okay, time to use the regular soldering iron and go to town. So what I'm gonna do is start down here. That's a little bit more in focus. Just gonna get a few just to make sure that we're lined properly. Make sure you all tell me when Gut Bomb's saying, clean your tip, John. The other pro thing that people can do is drag solder. I don't have the right tips for drag soldering, so we're gonna kind of do it like this. And so there's enough residual that it'll help sort of just tack it down, but then we're gonna come through and just hit all these. I80386SX threw a 3/8 inch ratchet yesterday and still haven't found it. That's why you shouldn't throw your ratchets. Oh, look at that. Oh, the first time I'm trying to solder something, I bridge it. Oh, that's great. But that's why we put flux on. The flux helps the solder flow. Keeps the solder in places it should go. Helps keep it away from places it shouldn't. Just applying a little pressure. It seems like the chip was up a little bit. Just want to make sure all those pins are down. Come on, three-dimensional vision. Is it time to clean my tip yet, Gut Bomb? Yeah, it's time. Pseudo meme says you need the flat blade tip to drag solder. Yeah, I like the little horse hoof tips, the ones that work really well for that. Maybe if my channel gets big enough, I'll be able to afford more tips someday. Someday I can afford all the tips that the pros use. For now, actually, we're just down to this guy. I screwed up one of my other tips that I have for this soldering iron. Oh, that's funny. It's happy little soldering accident. Yes, Tech Ambrosia. Happy, shiny little solder joints. Happy, shiny little solder joints. What's my iron? It's a Weller. I forget the name of the soldering station that I bought. I don't really recommend it. I think there are cheaper options that would do just as well. I like how thin the soldering iron is, and I have the nice thing that was an upgrade was that it comes with hot tweezers, which is the main reason I got it. And the hot tweezers are really nice, but the main soldering iron the tips are very expensive. They start at like 30 bucks each. And so I wound up buying, I came with one tip and I wound up buying 2 more, and I broke 2 of the other tips already. Or actually, no, that's right. I only broke 1 of the tips. That was a bent tip, and I guess I pushed too hard on it, and it up here, this little area broke. The other tip that it came with, the one it came with was a conical tip, which just kind of sucks. I don't like the conical tips. Okay. There's that. Pentium MMX says, is that a custom IC for Apple hardware? Yeah, so these chips, I guess I forgot to go over that in the beginning. These chips are basically the same as a chipset on a PC. So this thing's going to interact with the CPU, it's going to interact with the RAM, it's going to interact with the BIOS, it's going to interact with the SCSI chip. If these things had an ISA bus, it would be doing that. But this is basically the chipset. So they call it a GLU or an ASIC in the Mac world, and different versions have different names. Like on the Classic II, this is called the Eagle chip. I don't remember what it's called on the LC II. These are sucking up a lot of solder. There we go. All right, have we had any more streaming glitches since the power went out? There we go. Now we're getting the solder on there. I think that bomb's probably screaming, clean your tip, John. Gupom says I use conical exclusively for inserting the inserts onto 3D printed. Yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about the conical tips too. Apple like their custom chips. The only thing on these that are like basically standard chips are the SCSI controllers, and even those are a little weird because they also have the serial controllers on them. Clean your tip, John. Clean your tip. Oh, you bridge. There it goes. See, that's why if you use a lot of flux, if you're rich and you use way too much flux, you'll never get a solder bridge because the flux keeps those solder bridges from staying. Keeps the solder where the solder is supposed to go. I'm sort of cheap on the solder, on the flux. Okay, I think we did it. I think we did it. Let's go back to here. All right, so this is our LC chassis. Here's the chip from the LC. I'm gonna set that over on the LC II. Here's our LC with our LC II ASIC. Obviously, you should double check for things like solder bridges and stuff like that. I think everything looks pretty good, but if we have issues, then we'll go back and do it. Okay. This is, I guess we're gonna leave that floppy unplugged. And I'm gonna shut this power off to let the egret forget what happened before. Okay, is anyone else nervous? Let's get stupid and plug in a mouse. Here we go. One, oh, no, we go the other way. 3, 2, 1. We got chime. Good job, Steve. Either it'll work or it won't. That's useful. We got video. Main screen turn on. We got video. Come on, round corner mouse. Nice. So half of the experiment seems to be working. Let's see if this thing actually boots up. A Macintosh LC. I love it. I love it. We are booting. LC Pro Max. I love it. Let's go to control panels. Let's see if we can change the colors. 16. That is the standard for what we have here for Mac LC. So we got our colors. Let's go to Snooper. Let's see what Snooper says. Welcome to Macintosh. All right. So it's seeing it as a Macintosh LC. It's 68020, obviously, because it is. Seeing all the RAM. Cool. All right. Well, I think what I'm going to do is let this go while we solder the other chip on to the LC II board. Let's just do some logic tests. Let's get rid of that one because we don't need that one. Oh, there's a little picture of our, it's actually showing an LC II. It's got the math coprocessor, but I doubt it actually would be able to tell the difference. So let's get that going. Let's let that go. Set you aside. And let's do the other jank different. Oh, that's a good one. All right, someone needs to start selling shirts for my channel. I would love to have a shirt that says jank different. That is epic. Steve, do you want to be my official t-shirt retailer? Okay, let's do this one. Oh, and I already see I bent a pin. All right, so we've got to shut this off, turn on the big iron, clean up our solder braid. I didn't just throw that on the floor. That was cautiously placed into a trash can. Penny Max says, I don't know what caused the distorted death chime on my Classic II. So it was the chipset. Oh, actually, I just found it. Oh, here it is. It was hiding underneath a Garth Sus sticker. So here's that chip. This is what remains of it. I took out some of my aggressions on it, and I wanted to see what was inside. And so that's what's inside one of those. So basically, I swapped this chip with a good Classic II, and this chip was bad. So yeah. So that's what's wrong with my Classic II. There were moments where it seemed to work okay, but eventually it just gave up the ghost and refused to do much of anything. PogChamp face. Yes. Love it. Okay, again, we're just going to clean up all these pads. Got some of our braid that's saturated. And again, if anyone's interested in tracing over these pins and sort of understanding all the functions of this chip, there's a Excel spreadsheet that I have linked in the video description that where I've documented all of these pins. There were a couple differences, but I think those are basically errors in the documentation, and I think Max 1ZZ is correct, as opposed to Beaumark. All things DG wants jank different pajamas. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so we can see here on the corner of this chip, that's what happens when you drop these things. You can be careful. Oh, let's put some new flux on. Actually, I forgot to do this on the last one, but it's typically a good idea to clean off your burnt flux before you put on your newer flux. I think I'm out of Q-tips. This will work. Be careful with these. If you give your boards a lot of heat, sometimes, especially if your board has taken a lot of leak damage, whether you're talking about battery leakage or cap leakage, it can weaken the pads and how they stick to the board. So just be real careful. Don't bend your pads. I can show you an example real quick of what happens if you are working with a board that that has had major damage. Look at all these pads here that are missing. So this is the cursed LC575. Then I'm working on repairing. I've already gotten several traces repaired. There's lots more to go, but all these pads are going to need to be repaired. So yeah, pad lifting can be a problem. This board was in pretty good shape, so we're probably fine. Okay, so that guy goes there. Oh, we got to put flux on first. I am repairing that board. I'm going to attempt to repair that board. If you want to see the full story of that board, check out III DIY's channel. That's his board, and he did a really beautiful / heartbreaking video about that board. The Epictronics looks fixable. Yeah. No, yeah. No, yeah. Okay, I think we are pretty close there. Oh, got to turn your soldering iron, John. Make sure your soldering iron is on. Let me check on this while I wait for... Okay, let's just look real quick here. This has already gone through 2 cycles of some of the tests, passed everything. It's gone through all the tests at least once. So that's working. That is working. So yeah, the part of the reason I'm doing this is that I've seen people online say that this should be possible, but I've never actually found evidence of anyone actually doing this. So I wanted to provide some documentation that doing these chip switches would actually work. We will see if it works both ways, right? It's entirely possible that the newer one will work on the older one, like the LC2 would work on the LC, but maybe the LC won't work on the LC2. Maybe there's some little microcode in here. I don't know. Come on. Clean your tip, John. I just hear Gut Bomb's voice. I'm probably going to have that in my sleep tonight. And yeah, if you drag solder, this would probably go faster, but you know, we don't move all that fast here at the Big Bad Bench. We have our own little slow pace. Oh, solder bridge. Oh, solder bridge. Gotta add more flux. Don't be cheap. Watch what happens when we add more flux. Look at that. Look at that bridge just disappear. Yeah, a lot of times you can just kind of move it down to the next pin. This tip is just so bad at that. Came with pre-existing solder bridges from the desoldering. That's another point. Just look up top, see if any of the bridges stayed from before. I think we're all clear there. Okay, that's two sides. This is one that has bent pins, so we gotta make sure we gently bring that down. Okay, how we did those. Clean your tip, John. All these shiny, happy solder joints. You love to see it. Love to see it. Oh, there we go. Okay, I think that's all of those. Let's just double check, make sure that one's... Yep, I think we're good. That's a good strategy too, Gut Bomb. Leave the bridges, come back when you're done the rest of the pins. I probably am adding a bit excessive amounts of solder to these, but as long as you're not creating bridges, it's fine. Like that. Oh, like that. Oh, so many bridges. Oh, that's a bad one. Okay, there we go. Add some flux. Of course, my last two pins are giving me bridge nightmares. I think we're gonna have to use the solder braid to alleviate our bridge. There we go. John found the discussion on the 68K MLA forum about, yeah, yep. I think there was some discussion there about trying to figure out a way to get around it. I don't know that they actually ever figured out anything there. Okay, I think we're good. Let's go back to here. Okay, let's get our LC II chassis. Okay, we're getting close. Okay, we got to shut this one off. Let's go back to here. All right, so we've made it through basically 4 cycles of everything. So this thing's cranking along. Seems good to go. Let's shut down. That is fun. That is a lot of fun. Uh-oh. Steve sent me a very important message on Discord. Okay, here we go. Gotta keep this in frame in case anything catches fire. 3, 2, 1. Chime. We got gray screen. Come on, better gray screen. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Dang. Let's do the flick, see if that has anything to do with it. Shake it violently. Well, that didn't work. Are all the pins happy? Yeah, we'll go over and double check it. The other thing that I'm noticing here is that the blue SCSI is not flickering. And so that can be an indication that it's not booting. All right, let's go over all these pins. Let's take it all out. Got chime. That is interesting. One of the things I might want to try is if all the pins look good, swap out the ROMs and see if that would fool it into working. Hey, Xenoside. So far, we took this chip. So this is actually the chip for the LC. The one from this board, the LC2, we put onto the LC, and that worked fine. This one chimes, but it's not going. So what we're going to do is double check that all the pins are happy, and then we're going to well, first we'll check to make sure that the pins aren't bridged or anything like that. And if that seems to not be a problem, then I think we're going to swap the ROMs and see if the ROMs will behave. All right, I don't see anything overt. This thing is basically the video controller for these computers, so it would make sense that we wouldn't get video if something were wrong. We kind of sort of get video. We got like gray screen, which can sort of mean that we're getting our H-sync and V-sync, but not actual video signal. I think that happens later in the boot sequence. Yeah, we're doing the hot nudging action, Steve. Don't worry. Okay, that all looks fine. Let's check for beeps. This part's going to be a little tedious, sorry. So what I'm doing is just making sure that the pin is actually touching well, and that it's not touching the neighbor pin. I don't think there's any of these that have like grounds or 5 volts right next to each other. Let's go this way. Let's go in a circle so I remember which way I do this. Everyone loves beeping, right? Man, spreadsheets and beeping. What a stream. Almost there. I'm almost there. One more side. Every once in a while I mess up my rhythm. I like to do that one first, then that one. That one first, then that one. Pins are good. Pins are good, unfortunately. That's sad. All right, let's try this one more time. Let's try a couple things. It's Ron from Ron's Computer Videos. Hello, Ron. So what we've learned so far is that we can take this chip from the LC2 and put it on the LC1, and it worked fine. But we are now having issues with the LC1 working on the LC2. So let's show you what happens here. Oh. Gonna plug that in. Okay, 3, 2, 1. We get chime. We get sort of video initialization. But this is the gray screen before the video actually gets initialized. Let's try one. Well, let's wait this for a second, just in case something weird happens. Yeah, nothing's happening. Let's try the 256K VRAM. KRNLG says maybe the chip broke from the heat. Better put it back on that other board to make sure. Yeah. I mean, ultimately, yes, I will be doing that. I won't subject you all to that, but I will let you know on social media if anything, if that chip still works. See, I heard the little second click in the speaker that sometimes means that it's about to go into the boot and initialize the video, but it's not doing it. We get no activity on the blue SCSI. So 68030 has an MMU. 020 does not have an MMU. Well, yeah. But the way that functionally, yes, that makes a big difference. So I don't know if the chipset does that, because the way that it's wired, it would seem like the chipset doesn't care. It's probably about the ROMs. But let's see what happens here when we swap our ROMs over. Just trying to see if I have an actual chip puller here so that people don't freak out. I don't think this one, that's not going to work for that. Where are my other tweezers? Oh, I lost my other tweezers. Oh well. It'll be okay. These will just bend a little bit, a little bit. Nobody look at this. If you hate not using the proper tool for the job, pretend you're not watching this part. Set you aside. I have a different set of tweezers that's slightly better for this work. That's why I was looking for those. I don't know where they went. They seem to have left the BigBadBench. Hey, Quicksilver. No cursing happened today. No explosions, luckily. Oh, yep. Cheese gears are gonna cheese. Okay, what I'm gonna do. Also kind of interested what would happen if we took the LC2 ROM and put it in this LC. Oh, Ron, I bought some of your things from Joe yesterday, or they arrived yesterday. Video output VGA bits for compact Macs. So we're eventually going to use those on a stream. Stay tuned. Also, speaking of future streams, I came across a reasonably priced Apple IIc, and our friend, the amazing Kay Koba, happened to message me on Facebook about a new fun product that they're working on, and I'll be getting one of those in to test out soon, which is very exciting. So if you like bits for your Apples that are not Macintoshes, stay tuned for that. Okay, so these are the LC ROMs in the LC II. Let's see what happens. 3, 2, 1. We got chime. look at that. We get sad chimes. That's interesting. Neat. What happens with this way? So here's the LC with the LC2 ROMs. Oh, we got to put in a VRAM sim. Since you have both PSUs, are they the same cap kit? I don't remember. They are very similar across all the different manufacturers. Okay, so these are the LC2 ROMs in the LC. We got video initialization. Oh. Let's see what happens here. Oh, I didn't plug in a mouse. Oh, I didn't plug in a mouse. And we're booting. So this will be fun. So we have the LC2 chipset and the LC2 ROMs in the LC. I'm gonna do the thing. We're off of camera, so you can't see me do this. I'm doing the thing that I tell people never to do, that Gutbomb always does. Okay. Let's see what it thinks this thing is. It still sees it as a Mac LC, even though we have the LC2 ROMs in it. That is interesting. This is weird. This is a weird thing. Can we give it color? Yep. We have our regular LC2 or regular LC color. So that's fine. That's fine. Everything is fine. Hello, FLX. Tech Ambrosia says, well, now it's time to swap the 68030 into the LC. Yeah, that is probably the next step. I don't think we're going to do that. What time is it? It's 1:30. Yeah, I've been going for an hour. I need to run out to the store this afternoon. So yeah, we're in color. So we're going to have to end this here. The Mac LC Pro Max. Yeah. Get your... That's a thing. Whew. Is anyone else tired? I am tired. Let's go back to here. Let's stop looking at me. Let's zoom out a little. Oh, this stopped working because we had this. Oh, we had so many issues today. Oh, yep. I can't zoom out anymore because we had issues. Oh, no, maybe we can. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Let's summarize what we did. Summarize what we did. So, this is a Macintosh LC logic board that currently has the chipset or glue or ASIC, whatever, from the Macintosh LC II in it. It currently also has the LC2 ROMs in it. This seems to work fine. We did some snooper. It ran for a bunch of cycles. It did its thing. This is the LC2 logic board with the LC glue on it. It chimes but does not post or does not boot further than that. We tried swapping the LC ROMs into here and it basically did the same thing, but also it gave death chimes after that. So it seems like there's something incompatible. It's also possible that our egret whenever I see that weird gray screen and we don't get past it, there's a chance that it's caused by the egret being wonky. And so it could be that. Maybe I'll futz around with this some more. The last step, as Tech Ambrosia accurately points out, is that we should probably try a 68030 processor in the LC, just for poops and giggles. I'm not going to do that today. Maybe we'll do it next weekend. We have some recapping to do for Tech Ambrosia. Everyone loves those sandwich power supplies with the Rifas in it, so we gotta fix some Rifa sandwich power supplies. But yeah, we'll be back at it next weekend. I might do a midweek stream again this week because I need to catch up on some work, and so maybe you can all hang out with me as I do some work. What else? John needs to mod his LC3 to get 68 megs working. Neat. I didn't know you could do that. Yeah, Tech Ambrosia is going to be cramming 3 Mac Minis into one at 6 o'clock Eastern time today, I think is when her streams start. But also, don't forget, before then, to hit up Trina's Technobabble. She's going to be streaming at 2:30 Eastern today, fixing laptops. I forget which one is it? A Toshiba, I think she's working on today. But yeah, I want to thank you all for hanging out today. Please hit that like button. That would be freaking awesome. Yeah, and let's end that here. Check out Dave's Vintage Apple Tech tomorrow. And yeah, Acer laptop today. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have a lovely day. I appreciate y'all. See y'all in a future stream.